In the heart of a misty old town, hidden between modern glass buildings, sat a peculiar clock shop no one remembered opening. Its windows were dusty, and the wood sign above creaked in the wind, etched with faded gold letters, A. Wren, horologist. One day, 17-year-old Emily wandered in, drawn by the ticking she swore she heard from the street. Inside, time stood still. Dozens of clocks lined the walls, yet not one ticked. An old man appeared from behind a curtain. "Time," he said softly, "has more secrets than you know." Emily felt something shift, like she just walked into a memory. She laughed nervously, thinking he was eccentric. But then he showed her a small, golden pocket watch. It ticked when she held it, but stopped in anyone else's hand. "You're sensitive to lost time," he said. "A rare gift." Emily didn't believe in magic, but there was something unsettling and beautiful in the way his words hung in the dusty air. She agreed to return tomorrow. That night, Emily dreamed of places she'd never been, Victorian streets, war-torn cities, quiet mountaintops. All with one thing in common: clocks. They stood tall in every scene, like guardians of unseen histories. When she woke, her bedside clock had stopped at exactly 3:17 a.m., the same time as the ticking pocket watch from the shop. Goosebumps climbed her skin. She scribbled it all down in a journal, heart pounding. Something about that shop, that old man, and the ticking timepiece was reaching into her subconscious. Emily knew this wasn't just a dream. It was a call. Emily returned to the clock shop the next afternoon. The sun cast a warm glow on the glass, but inside, the air was cool and heavy. Arthur Wren greeted her without surprise, as though he'd been expecting her for years. He handed her a journal, bound in cracked leather. "Timekeepers keep records," he said. "Write what you feel, not what you see." She opened it and noticed it already contained a single entry, dated a week ahead. It was in her handwriting. Emily's breath caught in her throat. "How?" she asked. Arthur only smiled. "Time doesn't move in one direction." Arthur led Emily to the back of the shop where a large clock tower mechanism sat still. "This one doesn't tick, it pulses," he said. "Only for those attuned to time's emotions." Emily touched the brass dial and felt a rhythmic thump, like a heartbeat. Visions flashed: a mother embracing her son during the Great Depression, lovers parting on a foggy train platform, a soldier clutching a photo in the trenches. All moments, suspended. She pulled back, overwhelmed. Arthur placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. "You're not just sensing time," he said. "You're remembering it." The next morning, Emily found a sealed envelope on her porch. No stamp, no address, just her name in elegant handwriting. Inside was a yellowed letter from a woman named Eleanor Wren. It was dated 1923. It read, "If you're reading this, then the clocks have chosen you. Protect the memory well." Emily raced back to the shop, but it was closed. She peered through the dusty window, her heart thudding. Then the clocks inside all began ticking in perfect unison. She stood frozen. Something ancient was waking up, and she was part of it now. When the shop reopened, Arthur invited Emily deeper into its hidden levels. Beneath the floorboards lay a spiral staircase leading to a secret library. Thousands of small drawers lined the walls, each labeled with a date and a name. "These," Arthur said, "are lost hours, moments forgotten by time but not by the soul." He opened one drawer and handed Emily a marble the size of a raindrop. Inside was a scene: a boy learning to ride a bicycle, his father cheering. "This hour was lost in war," Arthur said, "but we remember it." Emily held it close to her heart. One evening, Emily noticed a clock on the wall violently shaking. Before she could speak, it exploded, glass flying like sparks. "Not all memories want to be kept," Arthur warned, sweeping up the pieces. He showed her the mechanism inside. It was twisted, dark, corrupted. "This one held regret too long. Regret corrodes time." Emily stared, shaken. "Can we fix it?" Arthur nodded. "If we find the moment it broke." Thus began their quest, not to repair clocks, but to heal time itself. Each memory they restored helped the shop grow stronger. But the danger of broken hours loomed larger each day. A mysterious woman entered the shop. She wore dark sunglasses and spoke softly. I'm looking for March 12, 1985. Arthur grew tense but offered her tea. While they talked, Emily peeked into a drawer labeled that date. Inside was a vision of a car crash, a woman screaming. Emily gasped. The stranger's voice was in the vision. Suddenly, the woman turned to Emily. You saw it, didn't you? She whispered. That moment broke me. Emily nodded. But it doesn't have to stay broken. With trembling hands, the woman accepted the memory and left. The shop ticked a little louder after she did. In the library, Emily discovered a small figure made of brass and wood, an automaton boy with sapphire eyes. Arthur explained, That's Felix. He was my son. Emily blinked in disbelief. You made him. Arthur looked away. I lost him. I built what I remembered. Felix's chest began to tick softly. Emily touched his hand, and for a brief moment, he smiled. Some memories are so powerful, Arthur said. They try to return. Felix wasn't just a machine. He was part of a forgotten hour, half lost, half real. Emily felt something stir inside her. Could time truly restore what was gone? Behind the shop was a hidden garden filled with wind chimes, broken watch parts, and flowers that only bloomed at dusk. Arthur called it the Garden of Whispers. Each flower held a whisper from the past, a child's laugh, a lullaby, a goodbye. This garden remembers love, Arthur said. Emily knelt near a white flower and heard her grandmother's voice singing. She hadn't heard it since she was 5. Tears welled in her eyes. Why does it remember for me? She asked. Because you forgot, Arthur said gently. And forgetting doesn't mean it didn't happen. The garden swayed in silent agreement. The clocks began to glitch. Ticks came out of rhythm. Pendulums swayed erratically. Arthur grew weaker each day. Time's balance is off, he confessed. Someone's tampering with lost hours. Emily researched feverishly, finding that several drawers were missing. She followed clues that led to an old railway station long abandoned. There, she found someone she never expected, her absent father. You left us, she said bitterly. He held a broken clock. I tried to save 1 hour. Your mother's last breath. Emily realized the cost of obsession. You have to let go, she whispered. He wept, and the hour returned to the shop. Deep beneath the clock shop was a vast room with a single pendulum the size of a ship's anchor. It moved slowly, marking the rhythm of true time. Arthur brought Emily there for the first time. This is time's heart, he said. If it stops, everything ends. Emily felt the weight of responsibility press on her chest. What happens if someone destroys it? Arthur's expression turned grave. They already tried. Once. He showed her a scar along the pendulum's base. But time resists, as long as someone remembers. Emily vowed then to be that someone. To repair the broken hours, Arthur taught Emily the hourglass ritual, a sacred process using sand from the oldest clock in the world. They performed it on a memory fragment of a girl's first piano recital. As they chanted, the shop filled with music. The girl's spirit passed through the room, smiling. The clock she belonged to started ticking again. Each restored memory strengthens the flow, Arthur said. Emily's hands glowed slightly. The gift blooming. What happens when all are restored? She asked. Arthur looked away. Then the shop won't need us anymore. Emily didn't know whether to feel joy or sorrow. At midnight, the shop transformed. Clocks spun in reverse, mirrors shimmered with old reflections, and the air buzzed with static. Emily stood in the center as the ticking grew deafening. This is the forgotten hour, Arthur explained. It comes once a year. During this hour, you can meet the past. Emily saw her younger self, lonely, drawing clocks in her schoolbook. She whispered, You're not broken. You're preparing. The girl smiled and faded. When the hour ended, Emily felt lighter. Why does time give us second chances? She asked. Because memory is mercy, Arthur replied. One morning, no clocks ticked. People outside wondered in confusion. Phones froze. Birds didn't sing. The world had paused. Time stopped, Emily said, panicked. Arthur placed a clock in her hands. You must restart it. Emily entered the pendulum room, and placed the clock at its base. Her heart synced with the pendulum swing. Slowly, time resumed. The world breathed again. She returned to the shop trembling. "I don't want this power," she whispered. Arthur smiled gently. "That's why you were chosen." Arthur's skin was paler now, his steps slower. "It's almost my time," he said. He handed Emily a small box. Inside was a clock, his life's memory. She placed it in the drawer marked Arthur Wren. It ticked only once. "You were the best keeper," she said. "You'll be better," he replied. As he sat in his chair one final time, all the clocks ticked in unison. Emily stood silently, holding back tears. "Thank you for everything." Arthur closed his eyes with a smile. Time, for once, wept. Emily dusted the shop, turned the sign to open, and stood behind the counter. A young boy entered, wide-eyed. "These clocks talk," he whispered. She smiled. "Do they? What do they say?" He held a small one. "It said my mom misses me." Emily nodded. "Then we should remember her." The boy grinned. Outside, the sky turned golden. Inside, the clocks ticked, talked, and told stories again. Emily had become what Arthur was, the quiet keeper of time's forgotten moments. One night, the door chimed open and a woman stepped in. Emily gasped. It was Arthur Wren, the woman from the 1923 letter. "You wrote to me," Emily whispered. Eleanor smiled. "You answered." Time had bent to deliver the message. "This place isn't just magic," Eleanor said. "It's memory made real." They drank tea and watched the stars through the ceiling skylight. "Arthur would be proud," she said softly. Emily looked around the ticking shop. "He's still here," she replied. And she meant it. Years later, Emily was older, wiser. A new apprentice had joined her, a curious girl with a love for old things. "Why do clocks matter?" the girl asked. Emily smiled. "Because they hold what we forget." As they worked side by side, a wind rustled the curtains. Emily looked up, sensing something. Somewhere, a moment had been remembered. A life had been honored. A heart had healed. She placed a hand over her chest. Tick, tick, tick. The shop was eternal, not because of time, but because of the stories it kept alive. Time is more than just ticking seconds. It holds our memories, our love, and the moments we almost forget. By remembering and cherishing the past, even its broken pieces, we find healing, hope, and the strength to move forward. True magic lies not in changing time, but in honoring the stories it carries within us. Time is not just a measure of moments, it's a keeper of love, memory, and healing. When we honor the past, even its broken pieces, we allow ourselves and others to move forward with grace, understanding, and peace. True magic lies not in changing time, but in remembering it with heart.